second being the publication titled Prisons in India, Mapping Prison Manuals and Measures for Reformation and Decongestion, and third being the publication titled Legal Aid Through Law Schools, a report on the working of legal aid cells in India. On this occasion, we are extremely honored to have amidst us Srimati Droupadi Murmu, Honorable President of India, Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Honorable Justice Sanjeev Khanna, Judge, Supreme Court of India, Honorable Justice B.R. Gavai, Judge, Supreme Court of India, Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal, Honorable Minister for Law and Justice, Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court of India, and all other esteemed guests and participants. Your gracious presence here adds immense value to this momentous occasion. The three seminal publications which will be released today are not merely publications. They are a juristic legacy being left behind by Honorable Justice D.Y. Chandrachud as he demits office next week. On this landmark day, I humbly request Honorable Justice Sanjeev Khanna to kindly address this august gathering.
Honorable President of India, Srimati Droupadi Murmu, Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud, the Chief Justice of India, Mr. Justice B.R. Gavai, Judge, Supreme Court of India, Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal, Minister of State for Law and Justice, my sister and brother judges, advocates, and distinguished guests, Namaste and a good evening. We have convened today for a very special occasion, release of three publications: Justice for the Nation, Reflections on 75 Years of the Supreme Court, Prisons in India, Mapping Prison Manuals and Measures for Reformation and Decongestion, and Legal Aid Through Law Schools, a report on working of the legal aid cells in India. Honorable President's presence is significant as across various forums. She has emphasized on critical importance of access to justice. In her address at the Constitution Day event in 2022, the President focused on the plight of under trials. She spoke particularly about the poor and the marginalized from rural backgrounds who remain caught in the vicious web of detention, deprived of their right to bail due to poverty and social stigma. She spoke about indirect and invisible discrimination. More recently, the President highlighted how the marginalized often see our legal system as a pathway to relief, but face overwhelming hurdles by way of costs and delays. Repeated adjournments strain both hope and resources for those seeking justice. The President's consistent advocacy on these issues stems from a profound understanding of ground realities and dedication to constitutional values. Guided by these challenges, the Chief Justice, Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud, had made access to justice central to the institution's policy. Chief Justice Chandrachud is not only an erudite jurist, but he equally understands the importance of information technology and data-driven reforms. Under his aegis, the Center for Research and Planning has emerged as a think tank for budding young legal minds with views and actionable insights. Whilst these publications do not necessarily represent the court's views, they shed a light on the current state on several issues and also sound a clarion call for reforms. The judiciary accepts critical analysis as these are necessary for growth and improvement. Our justice system's true measure lies not in its verdicts, but how it treats those within its custody. Behind prison walls, we find countless individuals shaped by deprivation and circumstances, many waiting trials and appeals to be heard for years. Judicial decisions by trial courts and appeal affect their lives and fate. This reality particularly affects the poor and vulnerable who lack the means to seek bail or challenge their incarceration. While punishment in law, in a way, reflects retribution, a person behind deserves reformation, particularly first-time offenders who should not be defined by a single act. We have approximately 5,20,000 prisoners in, in Indian prisons which suffer from severe overcrowding that undermines basic dignity and rehabilitation. A progressive vision is taking shape through 91 open prisons across India. Rajasthan has 51 open prisons, has set a benchmark for human incarceration. These prisons have about 1,316 convicts, about 29% of the total convicts in the state of Rajasthan. Here, inmates not only live with their families, but they build their lives while serving sentences. The results speak for themselves. Lower operational costs, negligible escapes, and insignificant repeat offenders, and most importantly, restored human dignity. These success stories affirm the essential truth. Given dignity and opportunity, renewal is possible. Through vocational training and skilling programs, many prisons prepare their inmates for reintegration into society. The task we all know is a work in progress. Yet, reformation must begin with access to justice. India stands unique in its approach to legal aid, having crafted a system that emerges not from international or Western templates, but from distinctive fabric of our society, which seeks to address socio-economic disadvantages. What distinguishes our system is its foundational philosophy. Legal aid is not a mere privilege, discretionary, or dependent on merits, but an inalienable human right. For us, merits or demerits of a case is not a ground to deny legal aid. Further, our framework extends beyond the traditional boundaries of legal assistance, embracing holistic and humanitarian approach that encompasses victims, witnesses, families of the accused. It is equally important to focus these initiatives in the right direction and tap into our student resource judiciously. The National Legal Services Authority workforce is of about 1 lakh professionals, panel lawyers, legal aid defense counsels, paralegal volunteers, and pro bono lawyers. Educational institutes have demonstrated their potential with over 1 lakh legal awareness programs successfully executed in the past 1 year alone. Yet the challenges and reality reflect the disconnect between the students and legal aid beneficiaries. For this, there are several reasons, which include interpersonal skills and trust deficit. The solution lies in thoughtful integration of law students into our existing frameworks, guided by the understanding that effective legal aid must be attuned to beneficiaries' needs and sensibilities. Students need targeted guidance, training, and involvement in larger course of legal aid dispensation, moving beyond the silos of university clinics. From the grassroots legal aid to constitutional guardianship, our judicial system continues to evolve. The publication, Justice for the Nation, Reflections on 75 Years of the Supreme Court, captures this extraordinary journey through 20 insightful essays by distinguished jurists. From fundamental rights to federalism, from environment protection to inclusive justice, from basic structure doctrine to involving free speech jurisprudence, the essays span a remarkable breadth of a constitutional journey. This journey marks a story of constant reinvention, from traditional litigation to alternate dispute resolution, from paper briefs to digital filings, from physical to online, procedural rigidity to innovative solutions. Through these methods of unprecedented change and technological advancement, the Supreme Court has adopted and changed while firmly holding on to the foundational and core principles. Our strength lies not merely in our rich heritage, but our unwavering resilience to uphold the rule of law. Each new challenge tests our constitutional framework. The court stands ready to adapt and respond while preserving essential principles that define our democracy. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir, for your profound words of wisdom. May I now request Dr. Justice to kindly share his reflections and thoughts on this special occasion.
Namaskar and very good evening. The Honorable President of India, Srimati Droupadi Murmu ji, my learned and distinguished brother Justice Sanjeev Khanna, my very dear and respected brother Justice Bhushan Gavai, and distinguished colleagues in the Supreme Court, the Law Minister Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal ji, judges of the Delhi High Court and the Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court, senior counsel, staff of the Supreme Court, members of the bar, and everyone present here today. 2024 marks the 75th anniversary of the establishment of the Supreme Court of India. To commemorate this occasion, the President unveiled a new flag as well as a new insignia for the Supreme Court earlier this year. Today, as a continuation of the celebrations, the President will release 3 publications of the Supreme Court which are of seminal importance. I am therefore honored to be addressing you on this august occasion. It is well nigh impossible to understate the importance of the publications which are being released today. Of the 3 publications, one is a collection of essays which analyze the jurisprudence of the court since its foundation, while the remaining 2 are studies which assess the functioning of legal aid cells in universities and the state of our prisons. All 3 publications are moments of self-reflection, both for the Supreme Court as well as the larger legal system. For any institution, the pursuit of excellence necessitates the deliberate act of self-reflection. As part of this process, we must carefully assess our past and present and use what we extract to inform our actions in the future. These publications bring us deeply rooted in the past with the ability to confront the challenges of the present and look forward with optimism for the future. While these compendiums serve as valuable tools for judges, lawyers, and citizens to ruminate on the direction the law has taken in the past several decades, the reports provide valuable data and analysis which will enable various actors in the legal system, including courts, the legal services authorities of the national, state, and district levels, and legislative bodies to better understand the nature of the problems which prevail at the grassroots. It is only after understanding these problems accurately that appropriate, effective solutions can be crafted and implemented. Without a clear picture of the ground realities, laws and policies will have limited impact and may even entrench existing problems. The hallmark of all these publications which will be released today is the element of transparency. We have tried to hide nothing at all, and our disclosure is full and fair. I must take this opportunity to thank the Honorable President not only for accepting our invitation to attend this function, but also for her stirring speech at the Constitution Day celebrations in 2022. On that day, the President highlighted the plight of prisoners and in particular under trials in our jails. The speech of the President kindled a conversation at the Supreme Court and culminated in one of the reports being released today. It is titled Prisons in India, Mapping Prison Manuals and Measures for Reformation and Decongestion. This report is a result of the President's vision, and it is but appropriate that it is being released by her. Thank you, Honorable President. I dare say that this is an example of what can be achieved when different branches of the state and the head of state guides us in a common constitutional goal. This report analyzes the prison manuals of all states and union territories and tests its provisions on the touchstone of the Constitution. It also examines the role of the district judiciary in adjudicating applications for bail, the use of alternative punishments for convicted persons, and their reformation, especially through open jails. The report deals with certain aspects of prisons that have seldom received institutional attention, such as menstrual equity and reproductive rights for female prisoners and de-addiction initiatives. One of the significant findings of the study was that the caste of prisoners often determine the work which they are allotted in jails, with inmates from oppressed castes being allotted tasks related to sanitation. As I recently held in my judgment in Sukanya Shanta versus Union of India, such provisions and practices are unconstitutional and are an affront to the dignity of prisoners. Holding that such discrimination cannot be brooked, my brother judges, Justice Jamshed Pardiwala and Justice Manoj Mishra and I, directed all states and union territories to amend their prison manuals such that caste-based discrimination is no longer practiced or permitted. Instrumentalities of the state will no doubt find the report useful while framing policies in relation to prisons. The second report which is being released today is titled Legal Aid Through Law Schools, a report on the working of legal aid cells in India. Legal aid clinics are meant to perform two equally crucial functions. They are aimed at supplementing the state's legal aid programs as well as developing the skills of law students. Above all, it is intended to develop their social ethos. In the process, it is hoped that they inculcate a sense of service to society in each generation of lawyers. It is therefore essential for the legal community to direct its attention to legal aid clinics and ensure their proper functioning. Our report is a much needed step in this direction. While other published studies on this topic surveyed fewer than 15 clinics in law schools, a whopping 83 cells, legal aid cells, participated in the survey undertaken by the Center for Research and Planning for the purpose of this report. I wholeheartedly compliment the talented group of young lawyers and professionals who have done exemplary work in the Center for Legal Research and Planning. The findings of the study will doubly be valuable because of the large sample size. The report highlights over 17 areas for the improvement of legal aid clinics. For instance, it finds that more than half of the legal aid cells accessed have not engaged advocates to supervise and assist the students. It also found that legal literacy was the main focus of most clinics and that assistance in the form of legal advice or drafting of court documents was rarely, if ever, provided. Most of these insights can be addressed by law schools without external assistance. Even those legal aid cells which have not participated in the survey stand to benefit from the report. Last but not the least, we will be releasing the book Justice for the Nation, Reflections on 75 Years of the Supreme Court of India. Former judges, eminent jurists, academics, and lawyers have contributed to this volume of essays, which critically analyzes key themes and trends in the jurisprudence of the Supreme Court. The essays cover numerous topics, ranging from the late Mr. Fali Nariman's discussion of preambular values to Dr. Upendra Bakshi's exploration of the limits of judicial review. Mr. Fali Nariman turned in his report on email to me just the afternoon before fate took him away from us. A number of chapters address the evolution of different fundamental rights, from those related to gender and disability to free speech and caste. I hope, and really I'm certain, that this volume will catalyze a lively discussion amongst the public and the legal community on the role of the Supreme Court in our democracy. Before concluding, I extend my hearty congratulations to the Center for Research and Planning, the administrative staff, the support staff, and to everyone else who contributed to these publications in different capacities. Your tireless work has resulted in the quality publications which we will now release this evening. I also thank the Honorable President of India once again. Namaste.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable and well-meaning insights. Like always, your views shall continue to resonate with each one of us. We shall now witness the formal release of 3 publications. I request Srimati Droupadi Murmu, Honorable President of India, to kindly release the publication Justice for the Nation, Reflections on 75 Years of the Supreme Court of India. I now request the Honorable President of India to kindly release the publication Prisons in India, Mapping Prison Manuals and Measures for Reformation and Decongestion. I now request the Honorable President of India to release the 3rd publication titled Legal Aid Through Law Schools, a report on the working of legal aid cells in India. I now humbly request Srimati Droupadi Murmu, Honorable President of India, to kindly address this august gathering.
Chief Justice of India, Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachudji, Sri Justice Sanjeev Khannaji, Sri Justice B.R. Gawaiji, Union Minister for Law and Justice and Parliamentary Affairs, Sri Arjun Ram Meghwalji, other judges of the Supreme Court of India, distinguished invitees, ladies and gentlemen. I congratulate everyone who has contributed directly or by way of helping to the publications released today. I am happy to note that the Supreme Court of India has been organizing very purposeful activities and events to commemorate the 75th year of its founding. Holding of Lok Adalats at the Supreme Court and organizing a conference of district level judicial officers are but just 2 examples of addressing the ground realities related to our justice delivery system. I commend the CJI for such activities. Ladies and gentlemen, the members of the Constituent Assembly would have thought about the events of the decades behind them, just as we are looking back at the last 75 years of our judicial history. The experiences of suffering imperial arrogance like those caused by the bitter oppositions of the Albert Bill and the passage of the Rowlatt Act would have hurt their sensibility. They conceived the judiciary of independent India as an arm of the social revolution which would uphold the ideal of equality, equal justice, and getting rid of the now redundant colonial practices should be the guiding principle for our judiciary. While continuing with the useful aspects of the pre-independence jurisprudence, we should remove the legacy of our burden. As we celebrate the 75th year of the Supreme Court of India, I share the view of those who admire the contribution of the court as the conscience keeper of independent India. The Supreme Court of India has developed a jurisprudence which is rooted in the Indian ethos and realities. I have been told that the book titled Justice for the Nation, released today, captures the high points of the Supreme Court's journey of 75 years. It describes the impact of the Supreme Court on various aspects of the lives of the people. Our justice delivery system must strengthen our onward march as a just and fair society. I am glad to observe that the report on working of legal aid cells released today is devoted to the legal aid clinics operating in law schools in our country. I understand that such legal aid clinics contribute to imparting holistic legal education to our youth and sensitize them to the needs of the vulnerable segments of our society. The status of under-trial prisoners has been an abiding concern for me. I am happy that the report on prison system released today seeks to understand the role of the judiciary in reducing the number of under-trial prisoners. I hope that the publications released today will help realize the objectives of pre-legal aid and prison reforms, besides educating the people about the exceptional role played by the Supreme Court in our journey as a republic. I congratulate the members of bench and bar, past and present, for making the Supreme Court of India the great institution that it is. I wish the Apex Court of India a greater future ahead. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Kindly rise